Okay, well, it's 6:30, Jim.
Yeah, I think we'll wait a few more minutes, John, because like I say, people do straggle in, and I don't know if we really need to have a quorum.
No, I think we can do it like last time, where we just kind of had a discussion.
We certainly can have a discussion whether any votes will actually
Right.
be
I
legitimate.
don't think we have any action items, do we? Well, besides the minutes and the treasurer's report.
Well, approved minutes and treasurer's report, but I did not get a call back from Rick, so I don't know where he is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
his phone was acting weird a couple of days ago.
You what?
His phone was acting weird a couple of days ago.
Yeah, Rick spends more time in his airplane than I do in my bed, so he could be anywhere. So who all do we have?
We have 9 participants. Jim, if you click on at the bottom where it says participants, you can see everyone who's logged in.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, I think nine is probably. Do we have 16 paid members?
Yeah, we have 18.
18. So. And I don't know if everybody here is paid. I think most of them are.
Oh, yeah. Okay, here comes Chris Ruggia.
Okay. Yeah, we need Chris. And I see JD is with us somewhere.
All right, well, thanks for joining, Chris. Yeah, you can hear me, looks like. All right, Jim, well, you can give it another minute or two and then go ahead and get started.
Well, I think we can go ahead because traditionally people stroll in anyway.
If they come in, they come in. Yeah.
If they come in, they can come in. And I think let's just hold off on the minutes until the next time. We hopefully by June we'll be able to meet in person. So they're opening things up little by little, and by June we should certainly be able to have meetings again. So, and we don't have a treasurer's report because we don't have Rick, at least so far. And okay, the next thing then would be Governor Abbott's reopening order, and I put that on. I thought at the time I did this agenda I thought at the time I did this agenda, there's Dave. I thought at the time we did this agenda, we'd be doing a resolution saying, please start opening up, but we've already started. So I think that's happening. So does anybody have any comments to make on it? Any discussion? If not, we can move on to the next item.
Well, Jim, this is John. I wouldn't mind a little discussion about like the phasing of the reopening for it, because like certain businesses haven't, right? Like, I guess it just depends on what kind of business you are and the executive order. I haven't reviewed it closely, but if anyone has any commentary on that, I might appreciate it.
Well, okay. Well, let's see. Business people, Monica, Dave. Who else has got a business? Dave Dumas.
From what I understand, anybody whose business is reopened as per the governor can open at 25% capacity until Judge Connell certifies that we have 5 or less cases in the county. Is that correct, Chris?
Yes, basically. The things he has to certify, there's like 8 different things, and that's one of them. A lot of them are formalities that are probably mostly already taken care of. I mean, you guys had seen probably the same thing through the Gazette that I did, that he was waiting for all those results to get back from our testing. But yeah, I should think that by now most of that certification work would probably be done. And so we're just waiting to see what he decides at this point.
Chris, do you have any idea how many of those things he's actually certified by now? Because it sure seems like he's certified for us to do an open air high school graduation in 24 hours. So do you know where he is on the certification process?
I'm sorry, I sure don't. I haven't spoken with him personally at all. Right after the order came out, ECTA told me that she was going to basically do the groundwork to let him know what would be involved. So I guarantee you she's been working behind the scenes to put those things in place, but I haven't heard a word about exactly where he's at. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So I guess you're on your own. If you want to open to 50%, you probably would not get in trouble, but I don't want to, I don't want to
Oh,
count.
let me tell you, we would get in trouble. We breathe the wrong way right now. So I'm just trying to figure
well,
out where we are in the process.
That's
Well, I
true.
don't know if y'all saw that the Texas Supreme Court overturned the thing in Dallas with the salon owner who was put in jail.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
not
we saw
well.
that today.
Yeah, not only that, but Abbott said that nobody who violates any of these orders can go to jail, and this gal got out on a habeas corpus is what got her released, and then and the lieutenant governor paid her fine. So anyway, okay, well, it would be interesting, Chris, if you could let us know if you hear something about Kano having filed that or whatever has to happen. Could you keep your eye on that?
Certainly.
Okay. All right. That would help, because to get a confirmed yes, it's done, you can open to 50%. I think that would be very helpful.
Yep. And I think tomorrow is nail salons, hair salons, and we are doing open air graduation. Is that correct, Chris?
I hadn't even seen that, Monica.
Yeah.
The
Becky
school district put it out today.
Yeah, Becky put out a release yesterday. The graduation is at Buck Stadium, but that's not till the end of June. So, and I think, and Abbott said something about graduations can be held indoors, outdoors, and later indoors. Or I don't know what the schedule is exactly. But we're not scheduled till late June, and it certainly should be okay by then. And if not, they'll pull back, I'm sure.
Yeah, I understand that there was a requisite for the county judge to self-certify that we're eligible to do so. And he did that within like 24 hours. Because the school district's already announced that they're going to go forward with an open air graduation.
Yeah, there was also the county had to release some public information or certify that they had provided information like about testing availability and things like that to the public. And so that was kind of pulling information together and then making sure that it was publicly available. And so I'm not sure exactly where that's at. It didn't seem like a huge amount of work to do it, but it's just those boxes have to be checked. I don't know if where they're at on it.
Okay. Well, yeah, if you could let me know, Chris, and I can let, we can then let the total membership know it's okay to do this or that or whatever. I think that would be a big help. Yeah,
you bet. As soon as the second I hear any developments on it, I will let Jim know and he can send the word out.
Okay.
Hey, Chris, I know that you've been sending out emails to like the restaurant owners or the STR owners or the hotel owners. Can you put a group together just with anything that comes across that generally applies to any business that's downtown, so that way we can all be on the same page?
Probably. I mean, the reason I've been doing the hotel list is primarily because that's the industry I'm charged with supporting directly. But it would be possible. I would think that maybe Jim's list might be the best if I send stuff to him. It's already in place. But what do you all think about the best communications methods for this time?
This is John. I would be happy to send along any email updates like we've been doing. I've been kind of waiting for 2 or 3 things to put out every week or so.
Yeah, either John or me would be, yeah, because if I get it out, send it to John and say, please send it out. So any other thoughts? Okay, if not, let's move on. Walt Pyle had asked me to put a discussion on getting these PPP loans. I called him and he said everything is cool on that. He didn't really need to discuss it. He said he doesn't do visual meetings, but he asked me to ask Chris about the sign on 6th Street at Holland pointing to the parking at the depot. And Chris, you and I talked about it this afternoon, but do you want to share it with the others?
Sure. The basic design of the structure and the artwork, that's all done. The panels are fabricated from Printco, and they are at, well, last I saw them, they were at the city yard, and so it's now on it's on Eddie's desk to sort out between paving the alleys, etc. You know, who he's going to assign to put them together and get them installed.
Point of information, what agenda item are we on?
Do what?
We are on number 5.
Yeah, it's on number 5, and I started yet. Walt had asked me to put a discussion about the PPP loans. And I called him this afternoon and he said, no, I don't want to talk about that. He says, everything's going fine, but would you please ask Chris about the sign? And so.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll just.
That's how we got into that.
About a sign.
Right.
Okay.
Skip ahead, yeah.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much, Chris. And I think we can move on. JD Newsom had asked me to be on the agenda to talk about dark skies, business recognition. And he's here. And so JD, it's all yours.
Well, and thank you, Jim, for inviting me to be on the call this evening. And for those of you who do not know me, my name is JD Newsom. I'm the Executive Director of the Big Bend Conservation Alliance, and wanted to talk to you guys about an initiative that we've got going on to increase, it's a Dark Skies initiative, and we're partnering with McDonald Observatory and the Master Naturalists. And as we piece this larger initiative together, we really feel like it would be important to involve the business community in Alpine and in the region to buy into dark sky lighting and promote dark skies for tourism, etc. And so wanted to gauge y'all's interest and see if that would be something that you would like to partner with us on, and see how that might fit into this larger initiative. Some of the things we're working on in the big picture, we're talking with the International Dark Sky Association about creating a dark sky reserve for the Tri-Counties, which would be huge. It would be the largest dark sky reserve in the world. And when you're thinking about promoting the region and the exceptional dark skies, I think there's a really clear tie into and benefits to business. But part of that, achieving these certifications, including looking at a certification for the city of Alpine, we'll want to look at the lighting ordinance and encouraging and educating businesses to comply to that ordinance. So that would be part of this initiative that we'd want to engage you guys to partner with us to have education opportunities to support businesses to become lighting compliant, recognize those businesses, celebrate those businesses, and promote the region for tourism, dark skies. There's a really great model that we're looking at that the Blanco, and they partner, the Hill Country Alliance partners with the Chamber of Commerce in Blanco to encourage businesses and celebrate those businesses that have dark or night sky friendly lighting. So we're looking for a similar model here in Alpine.
Okay. Would we have some kind of maybe award program for the best lighting or whatever, or or how do you see that? Or how do you see our participation?
Yeah, so I think it depends on how extensively you guys want to be involved in it. We've got a really great volunteer framework, and I've got funding to help with materials and files, and it's what I think you guys would be really helpful with would be to co-host education opportunities, for example, and workshops for businesses, helping promote the idea of the importance of dark skies with local businesses, but also participate in some celebrations and helping to promote these businesses that are certified as night sky friendly, and just really rewarding them for doing a really great thing for the community and the dark skies.
Yeah, we had a long presentation by Bill Wren about a year or so ago, and it was, I didn't tell Bill to keep it short, and he went over an hour.
Yeah, so Bill Wren we're working very closely with him, and he's.
Yeah, but anyway, okay, well, I think we ought to probably take an interest in this thing and what we can do. And I looked to some of the other members for ideas on how we could move forward with this.
Yeah, and I think that I think we'd want to work with you guys to really develop a plan, and we can get all the materials together and review those and come up with something that really works with you guys and the community and the business community. That we want to make sure that the business community is going to respond well to it as well. So thinking about that. Yeah.
Well, of course, we're very interested in tourism, and of course, that leads into that. So, is anybody interested in taking this on as a project? We're pretty thin in our membership tonight, and it may take some time on the phone for me to call around and to talk to some other people. But if anybody present would like to take this on as a project, we would really love to have it. I think it really is a worthwhile project, and it will help the community.
Jim?
Yeah.
This is Kathy, and I'm involved a little bit with this with the Tierra Grand Master Naturalist, but yeah, I think it's a great project and I would support it, and should get Mr. Newsom's. Maybe I will put my contact information in the chat and you could send me yours and we could work on that, because we do have a business there in downtown Alpine.
Great.
Yeah, you did such a great job on a Christmas thing, Kathy. You'd be a real good one to lead this, because you know how to work with people. So if this is something you could take on, I would really appreciate it. And I can work with you and with JD and whoever else we need to get involved.
And that's one of the fundraising things I wanted to do, is get more dark sky friendly lights around the Brewster County Courthouse. Set a good example there.
Yeah.
I have something for JD Newsom.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, JD, hi, this is Conley Razor. I attended a little late, sorry about that. But I did hear your call for informing people about dark skies. If you'd like to help it grow organically, I'd be more than happy to invite you on one of our local shows here on the radio called the Science Nights, and we talk about a little, things science, and that kind of sounds right up the alley of kind of giving a community call to the importance of night skies. We talk for about an hour about different things that goes on in science. So if you'd like to join that, or like to make an episode, and then we could promote it that way organically a little bit throughout the community, it might get you some extra volunteers or some extra support.
I think that would be a wonderful idea, especially as we're rolling this out. I think having that as a piece of that advocacy, that public advocacy and education, would be wonderful.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll just need to get your email, or I can give you mine. It's easy. Conley@bigbenradio.com. I can put it in the notes.
Great.
This is John. That sounds great. I also work with the Master Naturalist, and have enjoyed Bill's presentation several times. Always a different angle. So I think anything we can do to incentivize businesses to participate without having to force enforcement of an ordinance, right? It's going to be better if we can just rise the tide for everyone and get everyone doing what's right to really preserve our night sky here, which is such an important amenity, and certainly for the Tri-County, to be able to get that preserved for the Tri-County and to get we're looking at the state parks for getting dark sky designations for all our state parks around here. It really could be an incredible thing, and we could certainly showcase it on our website and everything, and it'd be a big part of the branding. And as Chris Ruggia has already done with the branding, I love that night sky branding for Alpine. And it's just, Alpine, downtown Alpine is the rooftop garden of Texas. That was an old travel slogan that I liked as well. So thanks, JD.
Yeah, this is
Dave. And I had mentioned to JD as well that from my position with the city, I will do anything that I can to help make this reserve happen and promote it and support it for sure.
Okay. Well, that's great. We've got a pretty good group of people helping out. So I don't know whether we might want to have a committee meeting here sometime in the near future. JD, if you could kind of find a time when you could meet. I think you could probably do it you've got about 4 people here. You could probably do it live, I think. Couldn't you, Chris? Or
Well, I don't know how advisable it would be, honestly, but it could be done either way.
Okay.
Dave Dimas, and I manage Sierra Lorana, JD, and we are a certified dark sky community. And there are places that you can go up on the mountaintop up there and get a good photograph at night of Alpine. And that may be a good thing that we could use to take to the local businesses that need correction and say, this is your place at night. See how it stands out. And then go into, here's how we fix it. And the funding is available for fixing it. When I was with the Chamber of Commerce, we got into this for a while and started really trying to work on it. It just kind of fell by the wayside. And I don't have enough time to take it over, of course, but if you need some volunteer work or anything that I can do to assist, or you want to go out one night and take that clear night photograph of Alpine to see where the hot spots are, anything I can do to help you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I'll definitely take you up on that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we've got some volunteers for you. If you need names or whatever, I can help you with that. Or
and I'll connect with Kathy, and we'll come up with a game plan for next steps with you guys, and we'll work kind of in the background to make it all, to come up with something to present that will work for everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, good. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Okay. Thank you very much, JD. That was very, very obstructive. Very constructive.
Thank you all. And I'll sign off. If anybody needs to get a hold of me, John knows how to contact me, or Jim. It's got my email.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah. I've
JD.
got your email. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you very much. Okay. The next thing, I don't know what we can do on this signage and sidewalk ordinance. Dave had talked to us about it a couple of months ago. Chris and you and I have talked about it. Do you know where he is on that?
No, I don't. I think a couple of weeks ago, I threw out an email, but there was other things on people's minds a couple of weeks ago. So we'll have to follow up again and see where we get.
That's how I think it's a back burner thing at this point, but I will keep it going. So because I know.
Hey Jim, I can tell you where we're at with that.
Oh, okay.
So we're filing for a grant with the CDBG, and we're trying to push the sidewalks out 6 to 7 feet through downtown. With that, we're also wanting to rewrite the ordinance just so you have 3 to 4 foot breezeway. So think about, I know Monica and Danny are on they've got probably 7 or 8 foot of sidewalk.
We have 8, and then it goes out to, I think, 14 at the widest spot.
Right. So then the idea is, yield 4 feet of walk space.
Yeah.
So then if we put, new sidewalks in at a minimum 7, some of them will go in at 8. That it seems to give ample size. I mean, wouldn't you think, Monica, for, kind of like that?
It is actually, when we did the measurements, we had assumed that we have 4 to 6 feet of sidewalk. So we were really surprised at 8 feet. And I think if we got 8 foot of sidewalk everywhere, I think you're going to be fine.
Yeah. So that's the goal. I mean, right now, as things open back up, David was just talking to folks about, making sure they kept walk space for people that are walking through downtown. The sandwich boards, everybody's doing a good job at moving them right out of the middle of the sidewalk. I think there's just one place that they put it in the middle sidewalk every day.
Yeah.
I go walking at night and I'm like, come on, let's just move it to the side. It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
We wouldn't be opposed to assisting with putting signage, and if you put up signs on the corners, like directional signs toward the businesses, I mean, you may want to let the businesses lease something for 6 months, $50 for 6 months, and you can have an arrow pointing to your business at whatever sign is on the corner. And I think that would probably address that problem spot. What is that, Holland and 5th? Where they're all kind of backed up on each other?
Yeah, Holland and 5th, yeah, they crouch out there. And then that other business just to the east of Cow Dog, I forget the name, behind the visitor center. They tend to put that sandwich board.
The art.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right out into the middle of the sidewalk. And they've actually got quite a bit of space to yield. So yeah, I do actually like the idea, Monica, of call it a wayfaring type sign on a couple of the main corners. Chris, that might be something we could look at as well. Call it a replaceable sign that, people could, purchase the cost of the sign and you clip it on that sort of pole.
Even if just you do just the slides in and slides out, so that way, as we've got these businesses that are apparently really fluid downtown, and you get a new renter in, they can just put in their new sign and, pay a $50 surcharge per year or every 6 months. I think it's well worth the advertising, but particularly as we're moving toward a more walkable downtown, people are going to want to know where they're going.
Right. Yeah, that would be something to look at, Chris.
So Eric, it looks like you've got a pretty good handle on it right now. Is there anything we can do for you? Or?
No, I talked to Marcy today. She's writing the grant for us.
Okay.
We're just trying to make sure we capture all the linear feet. We did a walkthrough about 3 weeks ago, maybe, and did measurements across every sidewalk from 2nd Street up to 8th Street, between Avenue E and Holland.
Yeah. Okay. Well, looks like, if we can help anyway, let us know. I don't see what we can do right now at this point.
We may need a letter from you, Jim.
Okay.
Just endorsing the application.
I could certainly do that. Yeah. Do we need the people want to vote on that, or we?
I don't think we can vote. We don't have a quorum, do we?
I think we're pretty close to having one. Yeah.
Well, how about we can
the
draft it up
application
and approve it? Yeah.
Yeah, the application with CDBG has been. They pushed that out 90 days to the end of the summer. So I mean, you don't have to take action today. I mean, as long as we take action July or August. I mean, Marcia will probably write the letter for you as well.
Yeah, I mean, if that's something that Jim can just sign on his own volition, that I don't think that would require a vote, would it?
It not necessarily, but it's better to have the vote of the.
Why don't we let Marcy put the application together, and then you can take a look at the application. She'll write you a form letter, and then the board can just vote to allow you to sign it.
That sounds like a winner.
Yeah, then we can put the letterhead on and make it official.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I think that would be really nice.
Okay. Okay, good. All right. Well, thank you very much.
You bet.
Okay. We're making more progress than I had hoped on. Okay. Update on hot funding. Chris or Eric, we have an update on that?
Well, we in terms of, I guess my question might be, what do you want to know? Let's see. I did do a call out to all of the hot grant recipients, and David replied to that on behalf of ADA, mainly asking, is your project going to happen? You know, because several of the events that were funded just were canceled in the last period of time when everything was shut down. So just confirming with those folks that grant was not going to be spent, because our budget overall, as you can imagine, will be dramatically diminished this year. So we're still kind of doing the math on that. There is, as I understand it, a fund balance that will get us through the emergency kind of expenditures we need to make, but we will be looking at where we can try and be effective but reduce the spend.
Okay, I had asked the question and he said you didn't know at that time, but is the current hot fund, is that funded from current revenues, or is that at the end of the year you had X dollars and you said, okay, let's put this in the hot fund?
It's funded out of what comes in each quarter. I mean, there's so when the budget's put together, that's a budget based on a projected revenue stream.
Okay.
And clearly, that we're not going to meet those projections this year.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Are you projecting that you're going to have enough money in the hot funds to fund the events that are still confirmed? And if not, how do you prioritize those events?
Well, as I understand it, we do have money in the bank from previous years. So I think for this year, we're going to be able to cover the grants for the events if they intend to go forward. We won't be able to cover it out of, revenues from this year. But as I said, I'll be looking for as many ways as I can to streamline, to try and make sure that we don't go over too much if I can help it. But we'll support those events for sure.
All right.
Yes,
Okay.
Definitely, Monica. We will have money in the bank to cover every event that happens this year.
Okay, so whatever you're already obligated to do, you're going to have enough funds to cover those.
Yeah, and I think what we'll do is we'll go light heading into next year, just depending to see how the revenues ramp up. And part of building that hotel occupancy tax committee was this ideology that we could grab 7 people in the community, and even if we had to come together every 4 to 6 weeks and determine what's going to give us the most traction, how our revenue's coming in, we can handle it that way. And we may just have to look at it that way from October 1 through September 30th of this next fiscal year.
Because you're going to have a lot of nonprofits who are asking that question.
Mm-hmm.
If we run short next year, how are you going to determine which projects get funded next year as opposed to what we've got allocated this year?
That is why Chris and I recommended the Hotel Occupancy Tax Committee, because the 7 people on that committee, community members, are going to make that recommendation.
Chicken.
Well, I'm
Let
sure.
us know what we can do to help besides sit on your committee.
Well, that's the best way to help, right?
And if they come up with an idea to spend twice as much as you've got, you're not going to put your foot down, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's only going to be, we're going to be able to project pretty well.
Will you tell the committee here, we have X dollars, now figure out where to spend it?
Well, the best way to do it is kind of what Monica was alluding to, is you do somewhat of a ranking of events that are planned, and you say, okay, we're going to do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as we see the revenue coming in, that unlocks the funding for those priorities that the committee recommends.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I mean, ultimately council will approve it, right? So the budgetary spend is always approved by council.
Oh, of course, yeah, it's based on your recommendations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kathy's
okay.
asking who's on the committee. Kathy Wright just asked who's on the committee.
We're looking for applicants.
Oh,
Kathy, they're looking for applicants.
good. I've already said dark skies.
Chris and I are only ex officio members.
Oh,
We participate in the discussion, but we don't vote.
You don't vote,
that's
okay.
good. I mean,
Okay.
but that's good to have a committee. I'm glad to see that.
Yeah.
I guess I was just getting ready to, I know Chris said you are contacting the people to see what events might go ahead and happen.
Mhm.
When do you think you'll find out? Like how long do you think it'll take to compile that list of upcoming events?
Yeah, really, I mean, that's the $1 million question, not only that our community's asking, but I think communities across America are asking.
Yeah.
You know, as different states open up, you know, do you have reverberations? What does that impact from a health, safety, wellness perspective? And then can you continue to ease and open things up? New Mexico, for example, I mean, the governor came out with a statement, said, I don't think we're going to see events over 100 people authorized as long as she's governor for the remainder of this year. So Texas, you know, Abbott's not taking that approach, but, you know, certainly Viva Big Bend in New Mexico would not happen this year, at least at the venue size that Stewart needs.
Well, and that
Can I interject something?
list could change quickly, even if it gets people go ahead. It's going to have to be very fluid.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody tried to say something, is it?
Yeah, David, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I did attend a meeting where we discussed the tourism committee, and which I think is a wonderful idea. And but at that time, there was one person who had been officially chosen in that capacity, and that was Sarah from the Holland Hotel, who I think is a good anchor, at least to get started with. How would Chris and Eric feel about retaining her, at least, since she was chosen at one time?
Well, we'll need to ask her to fill out the application, as I understand it, because she will have to go through that process. But I'll certainly do that.
We're just trying to, how many apps do we have so far, Chris? Maybe 2?
I haven't been told actually, Eric, because they're coming in, I'm assuming to Geo. I need to check with him.
To Cynthia and Geo. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll check on that. And then we'll send that out. Jim, if you could repurpose it to the group here, you or John. Because I think the folks that are actively engaged in ADA tend to be, you know, good folks for that particular committee.
Okay, yeah, if you can send us, we can get it out. If you send us what you want to say, we can sure get it out.
Yeah, I mean, I look at a gentleman like Dave Dumas, and I think Dave would be good.
He would. Yeah, but I would second the motion on Sarah. I think she would be excellent.
Yeah, Sarah's really solid.
Yeah. So, okay. All right, anything else on that? If not, this leads right into Dave again on the Harvest Moon. Dave, where are we?
Well, in the planning stages, of course. Basically, this would be our third, and thanks to Eric and efforts by the city, the alley, we'll call it Mural Alley, will be paved and should be very inviting place to at least start the event like we have by featuring new murals and the existing ones as well. And then moving on into the gallery area and possibly to the Holland Hotel lobby. We have a $4,000 budget, which we used most of last year. We have discussed if something came up sooner that might kick off a total reopening, that we might use some of that with permission by the city to do some kind of a small event during the summer. But I personally would like to keep the the alley event, in other words, the Harvest Moon event going, because it's been very successful and it's getting more popular as we speak.
Yeah, and I asked Conley to kind of take the lead on the other thing, and I've got him next. And I was thinking about doing it all together, but that maybe would be better to have something else earlier. So, Conley, do you want to pick up there and tell us where you are? Is Conley still up?
He's there muted.
He what?
He's
There
muted.
we go. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you, Conley.
Yeah, all right, great. Yeah, so I've been looking over some of the guidelines, and it looks like it's going to be difficult getting something this summer. But even if it is like some kind of small, like either a car parade or some of the small businesses and local businesses can be outside and be inviting, something like that. I've been brainstorming a little with, I'm going to get together with Mason Fleming, who's on the call right now, and we're going to talk about some of our options. But Jim, I think you're right. It might be better off to make the Harvest Moon like one of the best or the best that's ever done. And if we can all combine our forces, maybe we can make that happen, hopefully.
Okay. So right now, I guess you're just in kind of the planning stages. You don't really know where you are, or do you have some firm ideas?
Yes, can I comment on that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. The Harvest Moon is going to be, the full moon is on the 20th of September.
Right.
So that'll probably be a really nice time because it can be an indoor-outdoor type of thing. Even if there's still some precautions in mind, I think it would still be a really good event. It could be altered to fit those requirements, but let's all hope that by September 30th, we can do what we please to do in the city of Alpine.
Yeah, I like that idea. I like the idea of, combining our forces and making the Harvest Moon real big. Mason, you got anything, man?
I like the idea of a Harvest Moon. I've been here in Alpine for 3 years now, and I've always loved y'all celebrations. The only thing, when I came to Jim, and I don't know if anyone else here I've kind of talked to about what I've came to Jim with. I came to Jim right at the beginning of April, before everything was extended, with an idea that I had. It was called the Outbreak Breakout. The idea was for the Chamber of Commerce, the ADA, to pick this up and kind of go to the local businesses. It would be a it's not an event or a celebration where you're thinking like, businesses come out and onto the sidewalk. No, what it would be basically, you'd get the downtown associations businesses or outlying businesses such as Magoo's or Alicia's, and you basically would have them run like a coupon special. So you'd have, like, say the Century, for an example, would be, a free appetizer with a meal, and then it would run. You don't want to run it too long or too short. It would be whatever the committee and the businesses would decide. But basically, it would be a way for the downtown association to get local businesses to attract customers, because you're going to have a large number of people right now that are chomping at the bit, basically, to get out. I mean, there's people that, if you only go out and eat once a month, it doesn't matter, because right now you're wanting to go out and eat. You're wanting to, stretch your legs. So the idea would be to take some kind of event and focus that energy, that excitement towards downtown Alpine, towards those businesses, and help, recoup the losses that everyone has been taking so heavily due to this unfortunate event. So I would love to join in and help y'all with the Harvest Moon. But I still kind of like to push forward to see if somebody could, pick up a torch and run and try to help sooner with these businesses, because the longer you go, after this easing of restrictions and after the actual, outbreak is, you're going to lose efficiency. You're going to lose the potency of people wanting to go out. So that'd be it. Summer would be fine, because again, you want businesses to have a chance. But it's just something that the longer you go, your potency dilutes.
Hey, and Mason, maybe you and I can get together and put our heads together and formulate a plan, and then compare that with some of the guidelines, that's here, like the social distancing guidelines, because I've just found that that's a hurdle right now, and I think your plan kind of bypasses that, really, which is good.
Well, and that's the whole idea, is not to get the public into a gathering, not to force. It's really just that the businesses are open. So let's give people deals. Let's get people in. Let's get people buying things. You run it for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever you want. The businesses and the association decides, and that way you're not really putting a stipulation on, you have to dine in or you have to do this or that. It's whatever the businesses and the association decides to go around those guidelines. It's just a way to focus energy and excitement back towards those businesses to try and hopefully boost that downward slope that all of our incomes are going to be showing for this quarter.
So you're not looking for an event, you're looking for an initiative.
It's not really an event. It's I call it the Outbreak Breakout. Like I call it an event, but it's not. Sorry, it's not people getting out. It's not like gathering. It's not that. It's a coordinated effort by the businesses, led by, say, the Downtown Association, to draw in customers.
We'd be on board with that.
It's not really, as you put it, say, an event like the Harvest Moon. It's really just a coordinated effort of everyone coming together and saying, hey, listen, we're running coupons. Here's the coupon pages. You can mail them out. You can hand them out, whatever you wanted to do. And then that way people go, oh, I haven't been to Old Gringo in 4 weeks. I need to go get me, a plate of food and a drink or whatever it is. And so then they go in with that coupon, and they feel better about it, and it's bringing in revenue towards the businesses.
Can I make a point?
Yes, more than happily.
Yeah, there's several small communities. Well, Del Rio's not small, but to the consequences, that do a monthly art stroll or whatever, which might be a way to do a low capacity type of thing where people do get out, maybe come in under restrictions to galleries and shops and have a little music on the corner somewhere. And I have discussed this with a few people, and they seem to like the idea. In other words, like you say, it would keep the community alive and keep our downtown economy at least with a breath of air. So if anybody has an idea about that, let me know.
I agree. That's a wonderful, and the thing with this, again, I pushed for the downtown, for the Outbreak Breakout to really be more of a non-tangible event, if I could say that better, where you don't have a physical, oh, the art galleries are open, come to the art galleries, because then you're jumping into those hurdles of the restrictions and stuff like that. But if you throw an event such as the Outbreak Breakout, and you have 2 weeks or 4 weeks where these coupons are going, you're going to have increased foot traffic. So then the Downtown Association or individual businesses could go forward and go, listen, during these weeks, we're going to do something, and so it keeps the event and the restrictions are low on the actual event, but then it allows businesses to capitalize on, the banks, for instance, aren't going to run a coupon special, but they can go out and, put a sponsorship or open their doors and draw people in during those times, during those weeks, and really capitalize on it as well.
One thing that just occurred to me is there a way to combine like the idea of a coupon promotion, coordinated coupon promotion like you're talking about, Mason, but also something almost like a scavenger hunt where if people take advantage of a certain number of the coupons offered, then it ties into something at the Harvest Moon weekend, and they get something special happens for those folks down the road.
100%. I mean, that's imagination is endless. I mean, you could run with the coupon specials. When they cash in a coupon, they get a little ticket stub or whatever, and you have to bring in, however many ticket stubs to redeem a prize at the Harvest Moon, or to be entered into a drawing for something at the Harvest Moon, which would keep your actual cost lower than, say, trying to do a mass giving. It's really just this event that I had the idea of is really trying to be more of a catalyst, that a come together and then to capitalize on idea more than a let's go out into the street and celebrate. It's more of a let's come together as businesses and as a community kind of thing.
Hey, and Chris, you there?
Yes.
Okay, cool. You kind of made me think of something really interesting and creative, like maybe like a bingo card with all these small businesses on it, right? And then each business
Yeah.
has a unique stamp that they put on it, and citizens can have that card, and you know, when they fill it all out, or if they get a bingo, or if they get whatever, you know, they could turn that into like some kind of special raffle during the Harvest Moon event, and I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I love it.
And we
That
could
is
promote it
so-
on the radio and everything. I mean, yeah, like I'd really like to get physically with this force and you know, write some ideas down and brainstorm together.
I
you know?
agree. The possibilities are endless, and the biggest thing that I see is the ability for this, again, this kind of event to put out the downtown association. You know, here we are, here we're helping. You know, this is who we are. And then when the Harvest Moon comes along, people go, oh, these people, we already know them. We know what they stand for, and they're good and stuff like that. So it also helps publicize the downtown association as well.
That similar type of thing happened several years ago. The Chamber of Commerce, they had, it was a board, like what you're saying, like a bingo card or something like that, and they had either stamps, and you could go to different businesses and get it stamped, but it got you going in. It was happened to do with a lot of food, I think, type things, either restaurants or people growing. And Martha Lotta, or who else was involved with that, would have some good ideas for you and how they organize that. And you could, historically, there must be something about who all was involved with that. But that worked well, and it went through a long period of time. It went over, I can't remember, it must have happened like in 2015 or 16 maybe. And then at the end of this period, you brought in your card, yes, and maybe if you had gotten to all of the businesses or everything, then you were put in for a drawing. I can't remember what the price was, but it was good because it drew people to all over town, all different kinds of things.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, you know what? I wouldn't be against drafting like some ideas for what a card would look like. Send it out to folks, and then maybe we can brainstorm, vote on a card, and then we can start promoting it. I can promote it on the radio. We can give it to all the businesses and et cetera, and go from there.
Well, I'd contact Martha if she, not that she would draft the card for you, but she might have some very good input for you as to what businesses were involved and how they did that.
Right. No, yeah. And that information would be crucial. I'm just saying I wouldn't mind drafting a card, you know, doing design and everything that I do. So.
Well, I think Conley, I'd love to see you and Mason and whoever else wants to get involved in this thing, and like you say, come to us with a plan, and let's kick it around and see if we can make something happen.
All right. Well, I'm sure Mason and I will get together either this weekend or early next week.
Oh,
Okay.
definitely. We'll get together and we'll try to, you know, incorporate as many ideas as we can and come to y'all with more of a yes or no kind of proposition and try to get you more solid details for that.
That would really help, because right now we're just looking at a bunch of things up in the air, and this would help to nail it down. So we're all talking about the same thing.
Cool.
Okay.
So, okay. All right. Thank you very much. Good discussion. Okay. We have just a couple other items on economic development. I just had a thought when all of this coronavirus stuff going on, that I see Conley's on the screen and I'm talking, but with everybody, not everybody, but so many people finding they can work at home on the computer and turn their stuff in by email to the office. An industry that I think is ideal for Alpine, and we ain't ever going to get amalgamated, consolidated. We can't even get a Walmart. Big people wouldn't support it. But with all the people working at home, a lot of people are going to have the idea is, why am I commuting back and forth an hour each way to the office? Why don't I go to Alpine, where I can live in a nice community and send my work in on email? So, any thoughts on that? Hello?
Is this working? Hey, Jim. I think it's certainly like a market that makes sense for Alpine, and we might, there's a good chance we're going to see more people leaving the cities in the future here. So
Yeah, New York is driving him out with taxes.
Yeah, among other things.
Yeah, right.
I have a question for you in the city. What is the population base that you think the Alpine city water system can support? What number of people? How much could Alpine grow and still be able to provide everybody with water, sewer, and those types of infrastructure things?
We can comfortably produce about 3.2 million gallons a day. Right now, our consumption, winter months is about 1 million. Summer months, we'll peak at 1.8 million, 1.9 million. We've got 2 significant well sites that we're not producing water for, 350 gallon a minute sites. So my guess is we could push our capacity up to about 4 million. We could easily double the population in Alpine and still be very comfortable with our current water supply.
Just curious, yeah, that's good information to know.
Yeah, our wastewater treatment plant's permitted at 1.4 and change million gallons a day. We produce about 400,000 gallons a day.
So you're half capacity, just about.
No, we're at 30% of capacity.
Yeah.
In fact, we're looking to drop the permit down to sub 1 million gallons of wastewater a day. It does some financial benefits for us from a cost of reporting, but our collection system really is in, we're fine. So we could double population and be very comfortable with the infrastructure we have right now, and the capacities we have right now.
If you drop that permit on the wastewater treatment, though, and you decide later on you want to go back up, how hard is it to do that?
Not very. 90 days, 120 days.
Okay. Just didn't know what the red tape was, what the requirements were for that.
Yeah.
So then some of the road work that you're looking at and stuff, you're planning to develop more road infrastructure and things like that to handle more traffic. Where's that being looked at for like future plans?
So the best thing for Alpine, honestly, is building on the infill lots. But following our code and our ordinances, if somebody wants to develop on the periphery, they've got to build the road out. So Lechuguilla is a good example of that. And so we certainly welcome development anywhere. If I'm a developer, honestly, I'm going to try to buy infill lots and build out that way.
There's not a lot of space infill, just so you know, because we've been looking. Unless you know something that we don't, come and see us. And
well, I will tell you, Monica, people think their property is worth more than it is.
We're well aware of that.
It's really, raw land in Alpine is worth between 36 and 82 cents a square foot. It is what it is. Yeah. And people are pushing it out there for $2 to $3 a square foot. Mm-hmm. People are going to have to get real on the value of the land.
By infill lots, you mean the lots that are in a neighborhood or in a block that aren't developed?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And there's some around, a few.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been looking for 20 to 40 acres anywhere to develop, and I can't get my hands on more than 3 or 4 acres at a time right now. So
well, yeah, when you start looking at bigger development like that, Monica, yeah, now you know, that's a tougher challenge. But I'm just talking about single lots, 10,000 square foot type lots, 7,000 to 10,000 square foot, ample opportunity in town to buy and develop. That makes it the easiest on us, Kathy. I mean, if people want to develop on the periphery of the city, you know, we just have them develop out the road.
Yeah, okay, I just was curious how that handled. I haven't been in on city discussions.
Yeah, you know, the other challenge that they're going to have is the extension of the water and the sewer.
Well, that's, yeah.
So, you know, that's incumbent upon the developer. We're going to encourage it, but, you know, you can't expect the city. I mean, the residents don't expect the city to plop down $300,000 or $400,000 to develop develop out infrastructure for a developer than to make money.
Yeah, well, that's true. But I was just curious. And the water question asked because, you know, we live out on 1703 and seeing the water line get ruptured and all the problems, the leaks there sometimes. That's what kind of prompted my question too.
So that's what I call the Joey Dehart special. So Joey put in a lot of that infrastructure out there, and he didn't bed the pipe.
We noticed.
When he trenched it, he put the pipe on plain rock. He didn't bed it with sand.
Yep.
And I know Joey, and I told Joey, you did the city disservice there.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
That's why we're fixing stuff out there all the time.
I know. We watch it. We go look at the hole, and that's a dig's going on.
Yeah.
Properly.
Yeah, he just didn't do the work
He
right.
screwed up.
But honestly, most of our water, 60% of the water supply for the city comes from Muskies. We do have basically 12 miles of pipe, collection pipe that runs from those tanks on the north side of the city all the way out there. That was bought at a discount back in the 50, 60 timeframe. There was a Army Corps engineer job in the Del Rio area that went belly up. Bill Soul was able to get the pipe at a pretty low price. And then Cokernauts gave those Muskie well sites to the city. Two of them right now, two of the wells we're not using. They're both high capacity wells. So our goal from an infrastructure perspective is actually to rebuild that collection pipe out there and expand to 12 inches.
Well, that'd be good. That's good to hear. Just I never heard that. Thank you.
Maybe more than everybody wanted to hear, but that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Monica, if you can find land to the north, that is more preferable.
Okay, well, tell me
Right,
where
exactly.
and we'll go look,
If you're interested, I'll start looking for you.
please.
Okay. All right, anything else on that? If not, John, where are we on the website?
The website is stable. I've been updating the minutes. The next phase is really based on how we proceed with our events and whatnot, really highlighting the events. We could have some multimedia like the night sky, if we have that radio programming and stuff like that. Then we could certainly feature that on the website as well. I know it's looking good, it's sitting there, but we need it to be a little more like a breathing, kind of infuse some content into it. So I think that's kind of the next step that we've been talking about. So anyone who's interested as well, we could do, maybe we could start doing some spotlights of our businesses and roll it out along with this whole bingo Harvest Moon. Maybe we could just start, really promoting that situation.
Yeah, that is an idea. We could do, feature different business each month or whatever.
The night sky stuff, everything we've been talking about today would
Okay.
fit well with the web, but I'm always open to suggestions. I'm happy that it's working and stable, but we're still kind of at that, I've been putting the minutes on, but that's about, there's a lot more that can be done as far as the content.
Well, I think any good website is a living thing. It's always, you don't create a website and turn it on and say, okay, it's done.
Right.
It's something you keep adding to constantly and
Yes, sir.
improving and whatnot.
So
Okay.
yeah, we'll keep working on all that. And I did want to mention, Jim, at the top, we're going to mention Gwen, who I'm looking at our membership page here, and she's listed. Did you want to say a few words?
Well, I intended to do that and I let it slip. I didn't write it down. But yeah, Gwen passed away last week, and she contributed so much to the community, particularly in the way of the depot and the railroad park and Amtrak. She was very active in saving Amtrak when it looked like they were going to eliminate long distance stops, including Alpine. And that's a work that will never end. But she was very active in that and really did a great job on the depot and was very active in the railroad park. And so it was a loss, and she will be missed.
Absolutely. And, you know,
Certainly will, yeah.
people, anyone who wants to water at the railroad park, stuff like that, working in the garden.
Yeah.
It's just a great example of a project for downtown, and we want to carry on that legacy.
Absolutely. And it's been one of the highlights of people come to town and they comment on how nice it looks. So
Yeah, and so maybe with the wayfinding and the signage, you know, folks are going to be walking around and they can have some places to walk to, essentially, right? As we're becoming more walkable, like Monica had said.
yeah. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of which, and maybe, and I don't know who on the meeting would know, there's a planter right outside of my building on on 5th Street. Who does that belong to, and can we plant him there? Since I've got Ruggia and Dave and
might
Zimmer
know
on the
off.
phone.
I think Eric had
You
to
know,
drop.
Monica, I would check with TxDOT on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that they put those plantings in.
David, was it part of the Main Street improvements that you
No,
worked on?
that was a later project, TxDOT project that gave us those really beautiful traffic light standards, which every little town dreams about, and did almost all those sidewalk improvements, corners, and the brick inserts. That was done around, I think, 2010 or so, but Pete Gallego had got us the funding for that through TxDOT, and it really changed downtown a lot. I don't know about the planner situation, but I think anybody could use them if they had an idea for it.
That sounds like a green light to me, Eric. So just saying, next week we're gonna have plants there.
His Ginger
Guerrilla
has
gardening.
ones in front of her place, so
There you go.
You'll kill her.
there it is.
I had to plant my own tree in front of my shop because nobody was watering them. So the more we can take care of those public improvements individually, the better.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Anything else?
On news?
Or whatever.
Well, yeah, I really have an important thing to say, I believe. And you know that this community economy is based on visitor industry and the university. We're more or less a college town, you might say, and that has a lot to do with our future that we're talking about, people moving here and all that. Well, Pete Gallego happens to be one of the finalists to be the president of Sul Ross University. The decisions are being made as we speak, and I know that Mr. Christofferson has a lot more information about that, but almost anywhere you look, you're going to see things that Pete has done for this city and for the university. So the more we can support, at least I feel, the better we will be in the future.
I'd like to see some traction on that, probably sooner than later. So do we have to wait a month to get that on the agenda?
What did you, Monica, I'm sorry, what did you want?
Can we do
Dale
an
was trying to
endorsement?
talk, but I can't hear him. But I think it's in process now with the Board of Regents, if I'm not mistaken. There are 3 candidates, and Pete seems to be very favorable. Again, I can't hear Dale, but I'll leave it open just in case.
Yeah, I think the decision is coming up very shortly. They're going to recommend somebody to Chancellor McCall, and then he's going to make a decision fairly soon, I think.
That's correct.
So can we offer a letter of support? Dale, can you chat? We can't hear you. Can you chat in the chat screen?
He must have gone outside.
Yeah, he's not. It says he's coming through. He's not muted, but he might be muted on his end of his hardware.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think I guess we could pass some kind of resolution in support of Pete if there's time. But Bill, Dave, do you think that there's time to do that, or would it have any?
Oh, actually, what I meant to say also, Carla McFarland has been following this very close and has even, I think in the past, discussed things with one of the regents. And so she would be the best contact at the moment since we can't hear Dale.
You want me to try to get her on the phone, on speakerphone?
Oh, I don't know. I think it would be up to individuals to. It would be up to individuals to contact her.
There are 3 scheduled. What are they calling them? Virtual forums with the 3 candidates. I just forwarded to Jim a press release from Travis Hendricks at the university, and Pete's was actually yesterday afternoon. But they say, surveys will be open for 24 hours following the forums. There's one more with Dr. Bill Tsutsui tomorrow at 3:45. So we all missed Pete's interview, I guess.
Yeah, we missed the interview. Yeah, but whether
available on Zoom, or it was on Zoom, so there may be a retrospective version of that.
But the question is, if there's a way to give input, or to whom to give that input up on campus.
I don't know, but I think Carla does.
Well, can you find out?
And Dale just chatted. Sorry, I had stepped outdoors. How can I help? So Dale, can you hear us? Can you?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, let's hear.
Okay, now we can hear you as well.
There was some questions, Dale, about what do you know about the status of the president search on?
There's one more candidate to be heard from tomorrow. It will be on the Zoom, which everyone can listen to. And Pete did his thing yesterday. I think he did an outstanding job. I'm pretty sure that the Chancellor McCall will be making a recommendation very shortly to the Board of Regents, and that will be, gosh, I saw the date recently of the next Regents meeting. I'm sorry, I can't remember what the date is, but at that time I would expect to see the position filled, and someone, I hope, Pete, get to work. There's a lot to be done.
Dale, the question was, can we influence the decision with some kind of resolution or whatever? And should it go to McCall, or should it go to somebody else, or what would your recommendation be?
I don't think it could do any harm to make a recommendation, and I would address it to the Assistant Chancellor, John Hayek, who is overseeing the process. He'll communicate it to Chancellor McCall.
Okay.
Can we draft a letter saying, obviously I don't know that we can say that the entirety of the Downtown Association endorses Pete for president, but can we get something on letterhead that says the following members of the Downtown Association endorse Pete for the position of president, and then get it all to those of us who want to sign it, and then get that over to them expeditiously? Gail, can you draft that?
Yeah, I can draft a letter and get it. Maybe Carla or somebody could help us get it to the right person or whatever. Yeah, I guess to do that again, I would want to vote, because, and if there's one negative vote, I can't say all of us.
Right, and then that's what I asked. The following members of the Downtown Association endorse Pete for president of the university, and then us all individually sign it. And you can even put in there, although no vote was taken, in the matter of expediency, because we knew you were making a decision, we didn't have time to put on the agenda for next month. But these are the members of the Downtown Association who do support Pete's candidacy.
Yeah, the way I can do that, Monica, it's because we've got a list of the people who are here, and I could say the following numbers and then sign for them rather than trying to get it spread around to everybody to sign. And then, and Dave, Busey, if you could help me through Carla, find out how to steer it to the right people.
Yeah, that sounds good. Couldn't we just pass a resolution and just say, if it's voted positive, we can say the Downtown Association supports?
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, and do you want to make
Does it have to be individual? Maybe Eric would like to comment on that.
I mean, we're not a governmental entity, Eric, right? So we're not held to having to agendize it and put out a public notice about it, right?
Right.
I think
Eric
Eric's
dropped.
fine, but
Yeah,
you're
Eric dropped off.
You're absolutely right. You're an independent nonprofit. You don't have the public meeting requirements.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
we could just we can do an email to the board, Jim, and just have it as a general approval. You know, depending on the letter language.
So then I move that we issue a resolution drafted by Jim Street endorsing Pete Gallego for presidency of the university.
I second it.
Okay, there's a motion and a second, and I think it'll work just that way, and then we will figure out how to bring it about and how to accomplish it. Okay, any further discussion?
Jim,
Yes.
I would just add, you might check with David to make sure that there is a sentence in what you produced indicating that the Downtown Association is very well aware of the significance of Solross to the welfare of the community, not only to local businesses.
Yeah.
David participated in interaction with the Chancellor back a month or two ago. And
Okay, we got about 46 Davids. Are you talking about Busey?
yeah,
It used to be everybody was named Jim. Now everybody's named David. But okay, there is a motion, and definitely I will put, we understand the significance of the Solross to the community, blah, blah, blah. Okay, further discussion. If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Aye.
Was that a no?
It's unanimous.
No. It was a yes, but I was muted.
Okay, all right. So motion carries.
I would put in that letter that we voted unanimously in favor of the resolution.
Yeah, we voted unanimously. Yeah, that would work. Yeah.
And for your information in the chat, I had kind of a mistake of the survey, the connection for the Zoom call, and the survey for the search for president, or if you look at the chat, and you can go to the Solross, let me see, the solross.edu, and you can find a search for the president. If some of my copy and paste got cut off. But it's the link to the survey too. So there you might still be able to make some comments about
No, it's closed. I just tried to link to Pete.
Well, can you still make in this survey of that, only the survey about that person who made the presentation? Okay.
Yeah, I got the survey, and okay. Yeah, I will draft a letter and get it to David. In fact, David Busey, would you give me some input on what ought to go into it?
Well, yes, Mr. Christopherson would have the best information. I'll work with him on it and transfer that, he and Carla, and then communicate with you on it, if that's okay with everybody.
That's okay. Yeah, Dale, can you do that? Then can you send me what the letter should contain, and I will draft a letter based on that.
yes, certainly.
Okay. Well, we'll proceed on that basis then, and you can help us get it to the right person also.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Dr. Hayek is the one it should be addressed to.
Okay.
Because he is overseeing the process.
Okay. And I can look him up on the website. Okay, yeah, if you could do that, I will get a letter out just as soon as we can. And
I'll get
Okay.
something for you tonight.
Okay, good deal. All right. Okay. All right, anything else? Yeah, hearing nothing, we're adjourned. Next meeting is June 4th. So hopefully we can meet in person by then. So,
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thanks, everyone.
okay, thank you, everybody. We are adjourned.
Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Night.